Yo, welcome on back to another Pokemon Pocket video. It's your boy Ben here, and the meta right now, as we're getting into a brand new set with the EV Groove, aka Grove. I know it's Grove, but I like calling it the Groove, just to have some more fun. But like I was just about to say, the meta is wide open as we're starting to see just a lot of flavor with some of these new cards as they're enhancing some old decks, really bringing out some cool new combinations that we haven't seen before, and just really re-enhancing just like how wide of a net that you can start playing in this. So before we dive into everything, if you like what you see here, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, definitely click the notification bell button so that way you can stay on top of all things in meta and know exactly what the best decks that you should be using to rank up, and also to make sure, of course and foremost, that you're winning these games. So let's go ahead and dive right on into one of the top decks out of the bigger tournaments here, and that's right, y'all, if you guessed it, it's Savali. And so we have Savali Rampardos here. Just once again, we can let's do a little zoom out for those of you all at home so that way you can see all of the cards and their ratios. But this is consistency at one of its best here. You have, and what I mean by that, you have Savali here, which you're able to pull from with Gladian, which allows you to go through less cards to find your Skull Fossils, your Cranidos, and your Rampardos, being able to Iono into them as well too. Professor's Research into them. Gladian thins out the deck for you. You're sitting pretty. And quite often than not, you are just dealing that 100 damage, as you can see how many supporters you have to play and definitely deal that 100 damage. And then if anything else, once this goes down, you're then bringing in your truck, your sweeper here for 1 energy attacking for 130, the Beast of a Mon, which is in Rampardos, to really just finish out any Mons left. The fact that this thing still only... Yes, you do lose 50 points when you knock out a Pokemon, but at that point, you're knocking out you're getting 1 point, you're getting 2 points, and then you're sitting pretty. So this deck is standing through our last set here to kind of just still say, hey, I'm still here, I'm knocking things down. And we can see that with a strong performance leading out all of the decks here with its high win rate. Up next, we're getting a little spicy here in terms of enhancing older decks with some of the cards here. And Sylveon EX, I can't wait to play this deck myself. With its ability Happy Ribbon, you're able to draw 2 cards, and therefore you're able to find all of your pieces that you need here. And so you can run more different kinds of cards, right? Like there's room to run Irida in this deck, there's room to run Double Cyrus, there's room to not, go a little greedy and not play your stage 1, because you're essentially drawing 8 cards, y'all, right? Like 2 Professor's Research, 2 Sylveon EXs means that you're drawing that. And then this deck has been running Psychic and Water, seeing how Sylveon EX is just 1 Psychic needed and 1 colorless. Same thing with Greninja. The dual energy color here can really push you forward to making sure that you can be a triple threat on the board. Obviously, Giratina EX being as your late game sweeper, but also being able to attack for 80 with Greninja, or even up to 90 with Sylveon EX here. It feels pretty good in that sense. So the card draw, 20 cards, you draw 8, you're essentially almost seeing half of your deck. That's, I don't know if anybody can argue if that doesn't do well. And there's a reason why this is standing out to be being in second in terms of high win rate and in the standings for one of the bigger tournaments this weekend. And so we're gonna continue this train and just say what wins you games is consistency, and this deck is continuing to stand through time here. The EV set really kind of like focused on like those mechanics and really powering up those cards that you're playing with it, and we're seeing a lot of, even like trainers like Hua are like there. It's curious to see if Penny will like find a home in this style of deck, but as of right now, the Guzma, the Red, the Cyrus, the Leaf, the Mars, the red card, like these are pretty standard. We're seeing double Pokemon Center Lady just again to keep these things healthy, but you know what you're getting with this. You're running Dark Energy only. Dark Tina has gone through different variations, but loading yourself up with these cards going in applying that dark energy to Darkrai, powering up with Broken Space Bellow with with Giratina here. Then you're able to attack and go for one more, healing this, keeping this up alive, so that way you can fully swing once you're ready to go from there. So pretty nice. Like it is what it is. At first I hated it, now it's here to stay, and it's just like you adapt or you move on, you know. And then we're gonna continue on to another variation of Savali, one of the quicker decks really out here because of Zeraora. You have a 40% chance of drawing this card and getting that Thunderclap Flash. Being able to get that extra energy right away just allows you just to attack quickly or dawn up energy if you need to, right? So like if you are going like second, for example, you have Type Null, or even going first, like, and you have Type Null and Savali in your hand, you know, beautiful things that work out. Type Null's up front, you Pokeball or you top deck Zeraora, that goes on there. That draws the energy. You're then able to evolve into Savali, you dawn up the energy, you place the second energy, and then you attack whatever your opponent has for 100 on your second turn. Like that in of itself shuts down a lot of games. And like I've played this deck before, and that scenario happens more often than I thought that it would, and it's pretty sweet when like you get to like hit off that combo right in the beginning. Your opponent really reels back from that, and they don't know what to do from there. So that in of itself, these three here are really strong. And Oricorio, some of these decks are just going all in with their EXs and not answering the question, what do I do if I go against an Oricorio? And some players are like, hey, I'm not sure if I'm seeing Oricorio enough on the ladder in order for me to play around it. If I see Oricorio, then I'll just concede and I'll just keep it moving. Especially now that we have these new win streaks going on in the ladder, some folks are just kind of like, I'm going to play the greediest, strongest deck that I can build, and if that means I don't have to worry about this and I can get my points later, I'm just going to do that. And some folks are really opting for that route, and so this card just being out front can just win you games. There is a very hard time for them to get through one, and not only two of them, and you're still dealing damage. Like that 50 energy still goes a long way, sometimes 60 here, and so it feels pretty good. This Oricorio card still feels pretty strong now that folks are leading away towards it. There's like not a lot of Oricorio in the meta, so that's why so that way you can really catch people off surprise with this deck. And then we continue on, and then we see another variation here, but with the Magnezone deck. Really 3 prizes, right? You have to go through 3 Pokemon in order to win here. Shiinotic has proven time and time again its ability, just proven point, the ability to draw cards wins you games. If I can get through my deck faster than my opponent, then that's great. And then the fact that Shiinotic targets, yes, like it only draws 1 extra card, but it targets it so that way you're drawing your Pokemon, means that you're going through these evolutions as fast as you can, faster than your opponent, and you're getting to where you need to be, and therefore, you know, you're attacking for that 110, or you have that Oricorio up in the front, or you're getting that second Shiinotic, and now you're drawing 2 cards per turn until you have all your Pokemon either in your hand or out there on the whether it's in your active or on your bench spot, and that puts you in a much more commanding position, allowing you to be able to pivot more, look and play more to your board and play to your hand than what your opponent can do. Because even when they hit you with Mars or they hit you with red card, Shiinotic allows you to just bring those cards right back. And yes, your supporters will be like a little bit buried into your deck because of that, but you're drawing out with the ability your Pokemon, which makes your supporters come back out more likely, therefore not nullifying this effect, but really making it like really less bad against you, which is really cool. And then being able to attack for like this 110 or protect yourself with the Oricorio feels pretty good. We know Magnezone is a strong attacker and can be either, you know, the main front or the sweeper too. So like this deck has a lot of good things going for it, and so we'll continue and see that like Shiinotic also works into this Solgaleo EX build as well. kind of one of the top decks from the last season, still performing well, still doing really strong. And your answer to the Oricorio question just really kind of comes down to how much can you pivot and play here with your Shiinotic, and just trying to keep this thing alive, keep it a little bit healthy, because you can survive one hit from the Oricorio, but if you're the one who's leading the charge for it, you can go against them. So that's pretty fun. Also, shout out to the leftovers. I saw this being played on Solgaleo EX, which mitigates the Soul Breaker negative drawback here. And I mean, like, yes, right, like Soul Breaker, if you go against Charizard EX, that hits you for 170 because of weakness. But with leftovers, after you hit for 120, you go down 10, you heal back up 10 at the end of the round with leftovers, and now you're back at full health. That's kind of cool. The only drawback to this Pokemon is now mitigated, and you have to have this Pokemon tool in this kind of deck. Maybe I run 2, so that way I consistently am like, leftovers is just for my Solgaleo, and I know I'm going to get it because of Shiinotic. And so maybe, you know, I don't know what I would like take out for a second one, but that is a very interesting like call here. But I definitely like the tech to keep your pretty Metal Lion very healthy and letting it attack for 120 essentially for free is pretty strong, if you don't if I don't say so myself. And then up next is probably one of the better cards to come out in this set. Really loving Flareon EX. We actually have this deck up on the channel if you want to check this out in action. But Turtonator Flareon EX is just a match made in heaven. You're able to Turtonator is a beefy mon, 120 HP. You're attacking for 90 for 3 energy, but you're getting 2 of those energy. With Kawaii, yes, it ends your turn, but because you're healthy, you don't mind putting that extra energy up that following turn to start attacking for 90 damage. If you're able to pull this off in the beginning, whereas Turtonator and then Kawaii like first go, like you're attacking for 90 energy on that second turn. Since this you can run this in a couple of different ways. Because the Fire Spin is discarding it, Flareon EX now gets a free ramp. Pokemon Center Lady or Eevee Bag allows you to stay back up to full, so that way you can avoid the enemies or your opponent's Cyruses, and that way you don't have to, like, you know, leave yourself up for room. So I do like that play in of itself as well here. And then if I have 2 Eevee bags in my hand, I kind of save Pokemon Center Lady for the Turtonator to keep that healthy, so that way I can continue to bully my opponent for that 90 damage each and every single turn, while I already have my Flareon 130 ready to go. We have the stat line 150 for 130 attack, losing 20. We've seen that with Giratina. Giratina EX is a staple season after season since it's been released, and I don't see Flareon EX going anywhere, and it's really strong, and I like it a lot. So this is a awesome deck, definitely one of the ones I recommend. And the Ultra Beasts, they came in, they put on a show, and they ain't leaving. They are not leaving here, right? So this Guzzlord EX Nihilego and Celesteela deck. So if you are a person who like only opened up the last set, or you took advantage of the Wonder Picks to build up your Ultra Beasts, and these are the cards that you want to go with here, right? Like and then we're going to talk about the next one as well too, but this is really focusing on that Poison Core, Nihilego, that Dark typing. You're really building up this Guzzlord to get to the Tyrannical Hole. Grind Core, removing their energy, and you'll notice that there's no Team Rocket Grunt here because Grind Core is doing that work for you, which is totally great. That Poison Barb stacking because of the Nihilegos that are out on the fields here, and Lusamine bringing up that energy, so that way you know it's only dark and it just goes right back to it. It's just really nice. When you ask yourself the question here for this type of deck, oh, or core against Guzzlord, you just, you know, you poison them and then they go down, or you flip ahead and they go down. So you do have different options here, and I really do like this style a lot. And insert the other deck here. Primary, like, you know, had a really good argument for being the best deck in the format of last season, being able to flexibly switch your Buzzwole in and out by having 2 double Celesteelas, which mitigates the big beat, which means that you are attacking for 120 per turn every turn. Pheromosa and Kartana being able to do the damage that it needs to get done. Pheromosa enabling Cyrus at any point or weakening things up for that big beat. Kartana just hitting for 40 right away for only 1 energy is super strong. I like the split here because both of these do deal 40 to your opponent, but in different ways, and it softens it up. And I think having both and being able to be flexible in how you're attacking and deciding to choose to attack your opponent is really good here. Grass being able to benefit from things like Leaf Cape and Erica, 2 really great sustain items here, makes this deck really strong. So I like this a lot. And the last deck that we already talked about this one. So this is the last deck that we're going to be talking about for our meta report today. I was just saying once again, like we're looking at these different tournaments that are playing out throughout this weekend, seeing how well that all these other decks are doing inside the metagame. Is just really cool to see all of that, like folks being able to play out. And there's good things going, so it's just really like take your pick from this like video as well too, climb up on that ladder, you get those win bonuses going, and just start enjoying it again. I think they were able to take the pressure off of folks a little bit more, so that way you can actually just enjoy playing just to enjoy playing, and look and see the cards in your collection, see what you can build here, and definitely take one or two of these decks up with you. And by all means, please let me know how y'all do. All right, y'all, if y'all enjoyed this meta report, make sure that y'all check in for the next one. We'll catch y'all then. Peace.